Habits Part 3.
Some really beneficial advice. Let me go back. I'm gonna dig more, if I may. I want to touch on, and we all been there. You know, we went to school together, and certain things we did to certain people that affected them. So let's talk from an angle where now we talk about being the kind of a victim, now the victor, if that makes sense. How will the person, the actions you do affect them? Because we've seen in our some people, some of the things that we didn't take it lightly, or I'm not saying we did anything, but you can see the actions that person was done to, that led them to certain way they live or whatever, and trauma, whatever.
It is a sad thing to think about, isn't it? Because when you're young, you're doing things and you're spreading your influence or whatever it is. You think you're just being a kid, and you might be doing things and actually causing harm, and those people will end up walking away with low self-esteem, low confidence. That stays forever, or stays for a very long time, and it's really difficult to break that type of insecurity. Once it's built in. So I do think actually you're right in certain respect as well. You've got to think about your actions, and also what kind of impact can those actions have on an individual, not today, not tomorrow, but even years from now. And if we think of it in that way, from a more abstract view and seeing it long term, then we might think twice about certain things, because often we've done certain things that we're probably not proud of. Most of us can echo all of those things, but I do think that as a youngster, you've got an opportunity, you've got a choice to make of how you want to be, and also
from both sides, isn't it?
From both, taking the abuse or giving the abuse. You know what I mean? So, if you're in a situation where you're in some form of power, you've got some form of control, and you're imposing that will on somebody else, think twice about it, because ultimately you might live to regret that one day, and you'll look down the line and you really, really kick yourself if you've caused some harm to somebody who is now living with a really difficult insecurity or really low self-esteem, or even worse, some kind of mental health issue. Vice versa, if you're in a state of being bullied or being abused or whatever it might be, everyone kind of goes through that when they're a kid or young in some respect. Think about it, because look, if you're getting that, how did it make you feel when you were growing up? We kind of have to put ourselves in that situation as well, and how is it when the shoe's on the other foot?
Sometimes when a person doesn't realize what they're doing to other person, because for you, the way you look at it, the way your paradigm, you might think it's game, it's just, or you're having fun, or also maybe you're getting the same thing from someone else. So it's we have to think, okay, where is this coming from? You have to question yourself, okay, and then analyze yourself, and then maybe that will help you understand your actions and how you
It's a vicious circle. You might be having something that's being done to you, therefore you do that on somebody else, and it just goes round and round and round and round we go. Someone down the line, someone's got to break that kind of vicious cycle.
Recognize that this is not normal, or this is not acceptable, or you got
to be moral.
So you
got to look at the moral ground and take the high ground in some instances as well. If you know morally that this is not in sync with your character, or that actually this is not the right thing to do, take the high ground and make a change and be that person that makes a difference, and maybe even change somebody's life. That person could have been abused, for example, for many, many years, and you're in a position of control, position of power. You can impose the same will on them, and yet you're making a different decision that actually could change things, because you might see other people that are around in your crowd that will maybe even stop doing that as well, and you could change someone's life just from doing that. Vice versa as well, if you're in a state of receiving on the receiving end of those type of things when you're younger, find people that you can cling on to and you can learn from in terms of how you cope with it, how you deal with it, but just know that you're not alone. And of course, for us as Muslims, it's easy for us to look back and praise to the Lord and find salvation in that, because we was brought up to believe that we're not alone. Find that salvation, pray to Allah, pray to if you're a religious person, go to that, because that actually helped me a lot when I was growing up, and I'm pretty sure for you and for others as well, it will provide It will provide some sort of salvation, some sort of fortress of solitude, even in that as well, because no one can break that. No one can break that communication. But I think, as a religious person or as a person of religion, we are in more of an advantageous situation or scenario, because we've got that thought process of we're never going to be alone, and we can look back to something and look for help and seek help and pray for it.
Follow for part 4.